PTSD and the cannabinoids. Yes, I can talk about that, especially because I think it well illustrates the divide between the real world and the world of peer-reviewed scientific literature. I'm Lex Pelger. I do Canna education for CV Sciences, the makers of Plus CBD. On the cannabinoids, ask me anything. I'll cover 4 papers right now, but if you want to see the research, go to CVResearch.info and check out our PTSD page, because a lot has been done on THC, CBD, and cannabis in general. I think this very recent review paper gets to the heart of the problem, because as they point out, all of the naturalistic studies and open trials find that the cannabinoids help with PTSD, but the randomized control trial that's been done hasn't found any help. And if you're anyone who looks at this, all of our files are overwhelmed with veterans and victims of sexual assault and other people with PTSD saying how much cannabis helps for them. There are veterans groups devoted to this. The surveys are overwhelming. The usage by veterans of combat. All kinds of people are saying, in my experience, this helps for me, and yet the clinical trials don't always bear that out. I think this review paper will give you a better sense of what's going on because it looks at 10 studies that are open label. They're not the gold standard double-blinded placebo trials, but they show that cannabinoids improved overall PTSD symptoms, including sleep quality and quantity, hyperarousal, treatment-resistant nightmares, and when participants were undergoing extinction training, cannabinoids given within the same time interval enhanced consolidation and retention. Let's explain that. This is a general theory about how memories get resaved and relived, and that every time you think about it, you live it again, and then you resave it. And that gives you an opportunity to extinguish some of the fear around it. That's what classic psychedelics seem to do, and that's what the cannabinoids seem to do. And it can be at the reconsolidation, the extinction, and the reinstatement of the memory. Cannabinoids seem to help dull the sharp edges of that memory and make it not as strong. Of course, you hear about this most for combat veterans. And in my own experience, the amounts that combat veterans use can be tremendous. I have seen people who are dabbing huge amounts every morning before breakfast, the amount that would keep me out of commission until noon, but they have a high tolerance, and that is what it takes for them to not get hyper aroused throughout the day and to go about their lives and to live. And you see it be very effective, and that's why so many veterans support this movement. Another important group is women who use cannabis to help with their PTSD from sexual assault. And in these interviews, these women talk about how cannabis helps them, but also how it leads to feelings of detachment that make them feel detached from their life and the people around them. So cannabis can be a double-edged sword for PTSD. And if you want to hear more of the details, feel free to ask me any more questions because it's a very complicated subject. So the benefits are there, but so are the negatives.